dial, the world's on air. News is popping everywhere. Akai and Verm, we take the stage. Friends with headlines, turn the page. Just pure talk, it's what we do. Around the world, we bring it to you. Laughs and facts on your airwaves. Every story, every day. From sunny coasts to snowy peaks. Breaking news and the hottest leaks. We're your voice, we're your crew. The globe's in spin, we'll bring it to you. Just pure talk, it's what we do. Around the world, we bring it to you. Laughs and facts on your airwaves. Every story, every day. From whispers on the Hollywood floor.
Yeah, from Whispers on the Hollywood. How you doing, everybody? DJ Verm here live. Yes, we are live. I am not missing tonight. Hi, everybody. How's everybody going tonight? Kai, how you doing?
We are doing good.
You're on fire. I could see because you've been doing the back end lately when I came in, and you're on fire. So I know you're going to have a lot of questions again to ask me.
We're doing good.
Yeah. So how are you doing, Doc?
Doing great.
You're what you had there? Is everything going better for your health?
Well, they can't find anything wrong. That's the problem. That's worse than knowing what's wrong.
Outstanding. Oh God, medicine, eh? Medical. Truck Sam, you're on the truck. I know your camera's not working tonight.
Yeah, for some reason won't let me use my camera without kicking me out.
Maybe the audio part takes a lot of energy. That's the reason why you're getting kicked out. So whatever it is, but you're what? You're in which region now? You're on the truck? You're working?
Yep, I'm working. I'm in Amarillo, Texas right now. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not even moving. And I can't even use my camera. It seems like when I'm in 5G, I have the most problem. But when I'm in 4G, I have no problem.
I think you broke.
Go figure.
It must depend on the state or something like that. Or, is United States all in 5G? 100%?
No.
Oh, okay. Just wondering. That's why. Because
We're more populated than Canada. And what I mean by that is the people are more spread out.
Yeah,
So
I know. Yeah.
So because
sure.
of that, it's a lot harder to get 5G.
Okay, good.
It's
So
only
welcome
like. Good. Sorry about that.
Go ahead. Finish.
Well, I don't like 5G. Seems like I have more problems with 5G than I have with 4G. Honestly, and there's a lot of people that are saying the same thing. Is when it comes to 5G, it's really bad. But when it comes to 4G, we're good.
Yeah. I know. Sometimes it's so weird, eh? It happens even when I'm riding with my car. So it depends. So I'm just going to say hi to everybody that's listening to us at the moment, and the people that will be listening to us also on our audio podcast from Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Podcast. Yes, we are on those 4 platforms because I didn't have the time to put the other ones yet. So good. I just want to say hi to our sponsor, Ruthless Rusters, who's been sponsoring Verm's Productions and their platforms, both podcasts. So I'm just saying hi, and what's going down on the bottom of the screen, you can see there's a special code. Just go hit www.roosters.com and hit it's Verm fans /44 RR10. Put that down in the bonus box, and it's going to give you a nice big 10% off. So with all the tariffs going on, you'll get at least a rebate of 10%. So that's the best thing going on. So so we're going to kick this off here tonight. I know I haven't been here last week. Akai done a great job because I listened to his show. Done a great job. Anyways, he's with me on this, so Yeah, I know he does a great job, and sometimes it's not easy when you get in and you don't have all the topics right away. So that's it. But I think at the most you were you and it was you and Doc. You and That were there. Okay, good. So, what are some of the topics tonight? What do you guys want to talk about? Who wants to start?
LA riots is probably a big one we need to discuss.
Yeah, LA riots.
This No King's Day is part of the things we need to discuss that.
Okay, let's start with the LA.
You want to start with LA?
Yeah, let's start with the LA because I know there's a lot of stuff going on. I've been watching the news and stuff like that, and I know the governor talked about it, and he started accusing all this crap that's going on. Military's now in
the military.
Is it 700 troops, 700 soldiers that are from the military that are there with what's the other one?
My understanding, a lot of the military is deployed there to help guard federal facilities.
Yeah, National Guard. Is it
National Guard? The Marines are there. They sent the Marines in.
Yeah,
and the president can deploy the Marines
180 days, right?
190 days. So there's really nothing that Newsom can say about it because Newsom can't protect those facilities.
Okay.
He can't even protect his own downtown. He can't even get rid of the riot. He can't even get rid. I'm not going to call these guys rioters. I'm going to call them terrorists. They can't get rid of these terrorists.
Well, you're using.
They
you're
are
using
actually.
Trump's, you're using Trump's. No, I think it's people that are frustrated and fed up.
No.
I mean, you guys.
No.
Guys
So frustrated,
no.
frustrated and fed up is when they have a thing where they're holding signs and they're chanting. When they start destroying property, those are criminals.
Yes, you're right. No,
and that's what they're doing.
But
yeah, no, you're totally right.
What are they protesting?
No,
what are they peacefully protesting? Because the news is saying they're peacefully protesting, and they're protesting against ICE, immigration services. So they got all upset and all pissed off at all these people there because ICE, the federal government, came in and was going to deport drug dealers, rapists, murderers, child molesters. But yet that Mexican community down there stood up and waved their flags like this is still effing Mexico and said, you can't do that here.
But
if Mexico's so bloody great, go back.
So that's your point of view?
It is. It's a fact. If you're going to sit there and burn the American flag, which they have done, you're going to sit there and burn people's personal property, act of terrorism. If you're going to sit there and dress in black and wear Hamas armbands and wave a Mexican flag while standing on a car, you're a terrorist.
Well, I'm with you on that. But the problem is
they go in with full force, and they need this is far worse than like January 6th,
Well,
but the media is like patty caking it down like it's nothing.
Yeah. So.
Well, there's another issue too because there's actually a third party involved.
Well, that's where I was going.
About.
No, but that's where I was going because they're proving that there's malicious people that got mixed up in all this. Anyways, it's always like that in every riot. It's always like that in every riot.
Well, these parties, like we got the name of the group is La
Raza.
Found out, yeah, La Raza. They're finding out that the Chinese party is actually supporting them with money to do
La Raza is an organization that's here in the United States that wants to have California and part of Texas and all that separated back and given back to the Mexican people. Well, I'm going to lay some wisdom down on you folks. You all gave it up to save Santa Anna's life. Santa Anna said, you can have that land if you don't kill me. And he lost it during the war, just like every war. So we didn't steal it. We didn't rob it from your people. It was given to us as part of a agreement.
Otherwise, we were going to take all of Mexico.
Well, I did see a document, Akai. I'm not arguing with you because you're better than me in the American history. But I did see a document where they were saying that they fought, because there was a war, when the Americans started taking out to go get some more states and more territory. There was a war, but they said in the document, it was like, was it stolen? No, I can't believe it.
Yeah, they believe it's stolen. They believe it's stolen. La Raza believes it's stolen.
I think so, yeah.
But you know what?
But
they don't care.
They're getting funded. They're getting funded by the Communist Party. That'd be like me coming up to Canada, taking a big chunk of land out of Canada and go, it's mine. You guys stole it.
No, I'm not arguing. I'm just telling you.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. But you know what I see? The
Canadian military would come in and they would arrest me and I would spend some time in a Canadian jail.
Yeah. Well, totally, for sure. Anyways, it wouldn't take you too much time. What I seen lately, what was it, today or yesterday? And I'm sure it's fake news. I'm sure it's AI made. It was Trump doing a not a speech. I'm trying to figure out how to say it. He was at the Oval Office saying that he doesn't want to have California anymore, and he's giving it to the Canadian. He says now they could put their freaking maple leaf, and they'll have all the drugs and this and that. And he was going off but I don't think it's true.
I need to see that one.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting to see.
Is it an AI thing?
No, it's on Facebook somewhere because I seen it on Facebook. Is it Facebook or is it?
I think if Trump did something like that, that would be national news.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying because it looks really like everything that he does. It looks like he's and everybody's in the back of him, and
that's one of those problems with AI.
Well, I don't believe it. Yep. He is not even allowed to do that. Even if he's the president,
well, he might not be allowed to do it. But
he's not going to say, "I'm giving the state to Canada."
It's not that hard. It's not that hard. That if
you guys got a constitution,
it's not that hard to believe.
No, I'm not saying
Trump,
he doesn't have it in the back of the head.
If Trump was upset, that he would go off and say some stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Anyways,
that's why it's not a far stretch. So
he does say a lot of shit. So yeah. He does say a lot of stuff, so I'm okay with you on that. He maybe but I'm gonna try to find that video. I'll try to send it to you guys. It's so weird because it's weird and then he goes off and he starts saying, well, Mark Carney is in the same video. He goes, Mark Carney is a Trudeau without eyeliner or something like that, because Trudeau has like dark eyes. So he goes and he was going off and saying that, and I'm going, I never heard this. I never heard that. So it was kind of weird.
The thing is, California is a whole different universe, and honestly, it probably fit right into Canada just right.
No.
Well. Yeah,
I'm sorry, but if California leaves, I wouldn't bother me one bit.
There is, I don't even know where to start on this one, Verm. There is.
So let me give you guys the facts. In September 14th of 1847, the United States stormed Mexico City. Killed their last fort, Mexico City. So now, if you want to do a little map check, you can go do a map check. Think about how far
down in Mexico.
We're on audio, so we don't have time. It's okay. I believe what you're telling me.
So that's when the guy gave up California and everything else, because if he didn't, we would have had California and New Mexico and pretty much all the way down to Panama.
In the history, the Americans were going for Mexico. But they
in the history, we were also going for Canada.
They attacked us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They attacked us. We retaliated and pushed them all the way back to Mexico City.
You're right, Doc, by the way. You're right that you guys were trying to fight for Canada. You didn't win, but you're trying to fight for Canada.
No, so that's not
the French and the British pushed you away.
No, that's not the whole story on Canada either. When we were declaring independence, we sent something that they don't teach you in your history because the British doesn't want to know. We sent emissaries up to Canada, and you guys actually said yes to sign the Declaration of Independence. The only problem is it took too long to get back. So you guys were already willing to fight with us against the French and the British.
With the French,
the French. Is it the British? Fighting with
against with the French against the British. So we would have had the United States or the states of North America, because from Mexico all the way to Canada would have been one country. And
because I know there was a lot.
I hate to say something, but Canada has some of the best steel and aluminum in the world.
Well, they do,
and we like to make weapons with that steel and aluminum.
Yeah,
if they became one country, the world would be in a world of hurt.
Well, I know
because there would be no one that could compete anymore.
I know Akai wanted to talk again about that because he heard something on the 51st state, but we're not talking about. I mean, we can talk, all of us here, but I mean, there's nothing being said we don't hear anymore in the news.
I don't think Canada would be a 51st state. I think every province would become a state or a province, and we would have 60 stars.
And we have economists that talked on the news because there were some Canadians that were questioning that, and economists, we had like a special show, and the economist said it cannot happen because we would be worse than what we are today. And they were saying that it will take so long to balance everything into a United States that we would lose everything and we would be in deep waters worse than what we are today.
And I'm going to tell you why I disagree with that, because if we were actually going to do that, it wouldn't be Canada becoming part of the United States, or the United States becoming part of Canada. It would be making a new country, and it'd be something they would come together and take the best of both and build one country out of it. And if they went to the table like that,
you're right. No, you're right. Sorry,
that would be the better way to do it. But
yes,
that's not going to happen. With current people that are in the office now, it's going to be my way or the highway.
Yes,
and it'll be a state. Now, Alberta, I guess, is putting together to do their vote, or getting things so they can do their vote.
Well, I'm not saying no. What they're saying now is lately, Carney has been working with the provinces. Everybody is now there's no more borders between our own provinces. So now we could all work together and we all could share. And there's a lot of stuff that's going on in Canada.
Well, Alberta is getting tired of the rest of being the piggy bank and being stepped on.
No, it's Alberta, and you guys got to watch what it's like. It's like me when I hear stuff.
I actually watched a BBC, British thing on YouTube about Alberta, and guess it's like 45% of the province that actually are like serious about separating.
Yeah. Do you know that Quebec is the worst taxed province in Canada completely? But we still need more money, but we're the worst taxed. All the other provinces are taxed at, I'll say 10%. I'm not sure because I didn't go look at the history.
I know Manitoba's higher than that. They're at like 35 or 40%. Mm-hmm.
No,
they're just north of me.
Yeah, but we're at 51.
I'm at like 18%, sir. I'm at like 18%. So 35 to 40 is still super high.
Yeah. When I finish with my salary, when I gave everything up, and I'm overtaxed. So that means that I'm taxed by the government and I'm taxed on the services. So services, goods, foods, clothes. So everything I buy is at 16%.
I pay 39%.
Yeah, and then then my salary is maybe taxed at say 30-ish.
Everyone in the United States pays tax. So not only do we pay federal tax, well, some people don't file taxes.
50%. 50% of people in this country do not pay taxes, but they get a refund.
Yeah, that's wrong.
I still owe money, so I can't say nothing.
So just to come back to what Truck was saying, the Albertans have their way. It's been a long time that they've been disappointed of Canada. So Trudeau and his father done so much damage over time and started cutting off on free trade from our province and started doing a lot of this crap. So it's one of the reasons why that Alberta is kind of frustrated. So,
well,
yes,
you're getting frustrated because my understanding from your Canadian broadcast system, and when I was watching the episode, is they won't let them expand their oil business they have.
Yes,
in Alberta,
that's where I was going.
And they're paying a lot more for the rest of the country. They showed numbers, and I'm like, holy fuck it.
If Carney and the current government does not acquiesce to some of Alberta's wishes, Alberta will leave.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, and they're working hand in hand. So,
and what happens when Alberta leaves?
No, but they're working hand in hand. I mean, he's doing a lot of stuff. He's got all the provinces to negotiate. The pipelines they're working on how
Alberta and Saskatchewan.
How they're going to bring the pipelines and what?
It's Alberta and Saskatchewan are the two on the hot list right now.
Correct. However, after Alberta and Saskatchewan leave,
no, the only thing that we're hearing on our end at the moment is Alberta.
Okay,
yeah, we're getting a lot of reports for Alberta and Saskatchewan.
Yeah, so and I just want to tell you one thing: Alberta cannot move because it's mainly Indian territory. And the Indians, is it Indian? No, how do we say
First Nations?
Yeah, First Nations. I know Indian is India. Sorry. First Nations, and the First Nations said out loud, we are not going to leave Canada.
Oh, so not what I heard.
That's another big debate. And you all know that First Nations here are strong.
Yeah, First Nations may be strong, but all the United States have to do is do what they did for everyone else. Oh, well, you can keep your land. Peace.
Yeah.
We don't need to steal anything from you anymore. We already stole everything we needed.
No.
Well, no, what I heard on your TV show that I watched, and it was from Canadian broadcast, they're getting fed up about it.
The Canadian broadcast system.
Yep.
Yeah.
CBC.
Oh, yep. Yeah. Well,
there's a lot of show, and it's 45% of Alberta and growing. That's a lot of people, Verm. That's a lot of people. 45% of it.
Here's what I would caution you. If Alberta leaves, you're going to lose Manitoba, Saskatchewan, British Columbia, and Alberta. Because your rail lines run right through Alberta, and Alberta will tax everything going either direction, and you have nothing in Yukon Territory. You have nothing in Northwest Territory. You have nothing in Navalot that they can get through without going through Alberta's train lines. And you just, I've been at Noyes, Minnesota, where the Canadian Pacific Railway comes in and U.S. Customs searches those trains as it's coming in. It's going to be the same way. And you're going to lose that whole top of the country. You're going to have probably Ontario and Quebec and Newfoundland.
You know that we're just talking on the air like that.
This is all hypothetical.
Technically, nothing will happen.
It's all hypothetical.
I don't know.
Until we see a vote.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's not.
We also said that we wouldn't go to war again. We also
Because
said we wouldn't go to war again, and then Germany invaded Poland.
you know, Alberta is one of the richest provinces.
It is.
Yes.
Because of the oil. Because of the oil.
No, it's the third richest.
So they
richest?
might not mind going as a state, you know. But the thing is, mainly the Canadians like their medical system, all the stuff that we have. A lot of Canadians wouldn't want to lose that, and a lot of Albertans wouldn't want to lose it. I'm saying that there's a lot of big honchos that want to lose.
Hold on, because isn't it Massachusetts? Is it Massachusetts or Maine? Wherever that one guy was, that Mormon guy that ran for president. Remember him? He was from that state. They have public health.
Yeah.
So there are a couple states in the union that do have public health.
So,
but it's run by the state.
So okay, we're talking about it per capita. So how much each person makes? Alberta is 3. They're behind Northwest Territories and Nunavut because they actually have more oil up there. The difference is there's less people there, so they have a similar piece of pie spread out among less people. What money they make for the government, Alberta is number 1. British Columbia is number 2. But why are Alberta and British Columbia so big? A lot of it has to do with American trade coming up to your ports and coming across your country. And Alberta, Saskatchewan's number 4 after by person after Yukon. And I know Saskatchewan's known for their grain. They have a lot of wheat up there. They have a lot.
They could probably supply the world.
They can.
They might be able to supply our solar system if we had more people.
And we all know that Canada has a lot of riches, a lot of, so.
The other thing is, when you restrict these businesses from doing what they need to do, I can understand having regulations. Restricts them, and they can grow and be, better.
Our government's doing the same thing.
Yeah, we are. That's true. But
what I would tell you is the people that would have the most to gain.
Have a safe trip.
He's leaving. Juste pour oublier les clés. Un set. Mets-les en quelque part.
Can you stop over 65?
Don't go over 65. Yeah.
Don't roll over 65. He said. Yeah. We are going to have a cowboy day, but he's like really busy.
Yeah.
So the thing that you have to worry about is we have to remember politics isn't just about the people. Politics is about business. Who stands to gain the most for any place in Canada coming to the United States? Business. Because right now, if I'm a business and I have to pay 50% tax, and I can go down and write off and pay 20% tax, so I just got a 30% profit margin without doing a thing? Oh, come on. Sign me up. How do I convince my employees?
Yeah, but you got to convince like Akai's saying, it has to be a vote. If the whole province wants to move,
all you got to do is convince your employees. If you have enough business convincing their employees, hey, you know what? If we become a state, we're going to give you a 5% pay raise.
Or they can come their own country.
Money talks.
Like I told you, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff being said. A lot of economists that are talking about this because it's in the air. There's a lot of economists talking about this, and it's proven and it's calculated, and they show the calculations that
now are these people actually favoritize Canada? Or are they actually showing the true facts?
The true facts.
Here's what I'd say. I'm not.
It makes me kind of question because it's like when you have other people that are, like if it was a group of people like us, I'd be more believing. But when it comes to like professionals, I get very skeptical because sometimes it makes me kind of
skeptic.
wonder.
Yes. But the shows, it's not people that are. It's not a Facebook thing. It's not a YouTube thing. It's real economists that are talking and answering questions of the population.
And how often are they wrong?
And these economists don't work for the government. They don't work for the government. So it's not someone that's paid to say that. It's people saying, you want to move? You want to do something? Here's the facts, and this is what's going to happen.
Now, how often are they wrong?
But that's like anything else. That means that
here's what I'd like to say. I'd like to tell you guys,
just so I can finish with the. If that's what you say, Truck, then let's not have confidence in anybody anymore. Let's not. Then I won't believe Sam anymore or Akai. Sorry. Well, anyways, even if it's Sam, they all know it's Sam. So yeah. Then let's not believe what we're saying right now. So
it's something where. In our history, we have taken, information from professionals, and we end up it's a 50-50. Is sometimes they're right and sometimes they're wrong, and it's something where until you do try, how do you know?
It's a table of. I'm sorry if I'm having issues with my English tonight. It's a table of conference. It's many people. It's not one person. It's like how do you call it? It's a debate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have like 10 specialists that are there, and then one. It's like what we're doing now. If we would be all specialists, then you give your argument, Akai gives his argument, then you get, it's exactly the same thing. And that's what they were saying. And then they all came to the conclusion of making us understand that it's not wrong to do that. It's not, but it's how long is it going to take to balance everything? It's not done in one night. You're not going to push the button. You're not going to push the button. Say the United States. Say Quebec becomes a state. It's not tomorrow morning that we are going to have the American dollar. It's not tomorrow morning that all our stuff is going to be balanced.
No, it's a whole phase plan. It would take years.
And then you got to change the government. You got to do this because we are all.
I don't think it'd be much of a change in government. It'd be
it'd be huge.
Way.
No, we got to go with the new rules. We got to go with the Constitution.
It's a huge difference.
It is. Canada and United States don't have the same rules.
The Bill of Rights alone is a major difference compared to the Canadian Bill of Rights.
Yeah,
really? Totally different. Oh yeah. We have the freedom of speech as a U.S. citizen, and I'm going to say this because of the riots. As a citizen, you have the right to freedom of speech. If you're not a citizen, shut your pie hole because you don't have the right. Just the same way, if I go to Canada, I don't have the right to have freedom of speech. I can't tell the government they're wrong. I can't tell people that they're wrong and their government's idiots. I'm going to get arrested and I'm going to go to jail.
That's understandable there.
But if you do that in America, people just think you're a freaking loon and they walk away.
So here's what I'd like to say. Verm, I don't read any of the news. All of my opinions come from the facts that I could find right now from reputable sources or my opinions. And the other thing that people aren't looking at is if you look at the polls, 50% Americans don't want Canada to join the United States. So as much as some of them want to join us, we're like, no, because it would have to come to vote for us too. You guys could all vote yes, and then it would go to our Congress. And if it doesn't get filed in that year, they have to reintroduce the bill the next year because our political system is absolutely the slowest thing ever.
So you're saying exactly what I was saying. It's going to take so long for everything to balance because you guys have to. There's stuff that has to happen. We have stuff that has to happen, and it's going to and then everybody thinks that tomorrow morning, hey, I'm going to have the American dollar. Hey, I'm going to be paid in American.
You're getting loud, buddy.
Okay. So I wanted to read you this section out of this bill. Well, not a bill, but it's called the Articles of Confederation. This came out in 1777, I believe. Right? So it's Article 11. Canada acceding to the Confederation and joining the measures of the United States shall be admitted and entitled to all advantages of the Union, but no other colony shall be admitted into the same unless such admission is agreed on by 9 states. So, in 1777, they were trying to get Canada to join the Union. Yeah. So for the last couple hundred years, this has been going on. It's not just a Trump thing.
No. I'm not saying it's a Trump thing. He's bringing out a lot of these laws of 17-something. I mean, even what's the last one he just brought out? He done something not too long ago.
It was the Insurrection Act.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. But that's a 1770-ish.
But it's been used six or seven times before in the past throughout the years.
Yeah, they were saying that, but I mean, it's been how long has that? They even said that it has to be reviewed because it's not actual. It's like
it's still a law.
Yeah.
The sad thing about our law system is there are some laws that sit on the books in some states that are absolutely freaking ridiculous.
In North Dakota, if you go to jail and you get out, you have to get $10 in gold, a 6-piece, and a horse.
Yeah. And you're not even allowed to own a gun as a felon. So figure that one out. And then on the East Coast, if you're traveling at night by wagon, you got to fire a rocket every 10 minutes.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. If you were a truck driver back in the early 1800s, 1700s, you'd have to carry a box of rockets to travel around at night because every 10 minutes you'd have to stop for so long, fire a rocket, and then proceed to travel for X number of minutes and then fire another rocket.
Which makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in Minnesota, if you're in the house with more than 3 people and you don't have your shoes on, it's considered an orgy. What? Whether you have clothes on or not. So if you invite your friends over, maybe your kid graduated, everyone has their shoes off, the police come over, it's an orgy. That's what the state law says.
West Colorado Springs has a law still on the books. If you get caught making moonshine or distilling spirits, which you could do legally, but if you're distilling spirits on your property, the city can confiscate your home.
But remember when we used to have what's his name, Quack with us. We used to have that like 30 was it 10, 15 or 30 minutes of all the
weird laws were. Yeah.
Yeah, all the weird laws that are still existing.
Yeah.
That should be modified.
And so both sides are going to have to work this out and do what they want to do. And if people want to leave and they vote to do it, then by God, that's up to them. But
yeah,
I wanted to share this piece of history with you.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I did. I did. I wanted to share this piece of history.
Canada could just join the United States, and the Articles of Confederation say 100% it's possible. Nothing has to be passed. So if Canada voted to join the United States, they would immediately become citizens. They would have all.
The Articles of Confederations are no longer in effect, and they are, I guess, superseded by the Constitution.
Yeah, we'll let a lawyer fight that in court.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
some
like
of the
Puerto Rico.
And and I forgot this was even in there. It was actually a Canadian guy that actually brought this to my attention.
Really?
Yeah, because they're looking for all the loopholes they can to make the switch.
Damn, that's pretty bad.
But he's that's not bad. It's just it's his passion in his heart. He feels that he'll be better served by switching countries.
But you know what?
It's just like when Quebec wanted to become its own country.
Yeah, no,
nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's just what they want. That's what's in their heart.
I was one who voted for it. So yeah, and I'm not trying to say it. But the thing is, if you're not happy anymore in your country, why don't you just move? Why do you have to take the whole province?
Do you know how hard it is to?
You have to know
how hard it is to move in. Hold on, no. I need to touch on this. Do you know how many years it took my wife to get here from Jamaica? 2.5 years.
Okay.
You can't just move to the United States. It doesn't work like that. Even if you're Canadian.
Look, I have a family that I know personally sold off everything that he owns. He had business, houses, because he was in housing.
Where did he move?
He moved to the equator.
He moved to Belize, I remember.
Yeah, the equator. Belize equator.
Belize will let you buy citizenship or give you a visa to move to that country if you invest X dollars in the community.
Yeah, it's like the Philippines.
Philippines, South Africa.
How many Americans that I follow that are in the Philippines?
America does it. We're doing it for South Africans right now. If you're in South Africa and you have $1 million, you can become a citizen here.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So maybe in the United States it's more complicated. Yeah, it is. Anyways, it's even more complicated now today. But I mean, because now they're not accepting people; they're kicking them out.
Yeah, because
I have a question, Verm. When's the last time you've been to the United States?
A while. Because since Trump took over, I didn't go back to the States. Because I used to go every year to the States.
I understand your struggle of like, hey, just move to a different country, but yet yourself, you voted to make Quebec become country.
To separate, yeah.
So why don't you just move
but
to
I said,
a French area?
To be a country. What we wanted is not to annex to another country. Be a country.
Statehood is being a country. It's 50
I know,
individual states
in the 19
Union.
Aren't you part of the Commonwealth?
No.
Well, what do you mean?
We're not.
Do you follow British law still?
No.
Kind of.
Does your flag not have two of the three British colors?
We're liberated of that. We maybe still work with that. It's one of the reasons why they asked the king to come and do a speech. But he's going with the facts again. I could hear him. But we still run because we still have a lot of the how do you call them? Oh, I'm losing the name. But they don't tell us what to do anymore. You know what I mean?
I have a funny feeling that
Canada is a constitutional monarchy. So as long as you are a monarchy, sir, you kneel to someone whether you want to believe it or not. So you can go ahead and kneel to Mr. Henry or whatever, George, whatever his name is. There's a reason why my family left that country 400 years ago. He's a relative. You guys are a constitutional monarchy, sir. It says right on your Canadian website. Canada.ca.
Give us the link. I got to see this.
Yeah, there's something that put the link in the private chat. But yeah,
I got to see that because I know Canada is part of the Commonwealth, the voluntary Commonwealth, which is like 56 countries that are all linked to the UK.
Well, the only thing is, I think why the people are
holy crap.
Yeah, but since 1534, and they were talking about when France took over.
Yeah, that's because. So let me give you a little bit of my history. I'm related to Queen Mary of Scots, and if you're related to Queen Mary of Scots, it means that you can actually sit as on the monarchy. Okay, my family was killed off when they were killing off Queen Mary, and we came to the United States or Canada or whatever, really Virginia in the 1630 to 1640s. My family has been in this country a very long time. Okay. I understand how that monarchy works. The reason why we as Americans fought against it and we can have our gun laws and everything else, that shows we're not part of the monarchy. If you go to Canada and try to buy a weapon, you are following the same laws that were put in place by the United Kingdom and France 400 years ago. And if you want to talk about the French part, you have to remember that they had the 107-year war where the Normans in Normandy actually took over United Kingdom. And you got to remember, British people aren't even really British. They're actually Romans. The only real British people are north of like Hadrian's Wall, which are up into the Scottish area and into Ireland. Those are real British people. And if you consider them real British too, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, because there was a period of time when the Norwegians or the Vikings conquered them as well.
Can't we all just get along?
Well, I agree that we all should get along, but Canada is a constitutional monarchy. Well, it says. While you were talking, I was reading a little bit. It says a constitutional monarchy. His Majesty King Charles doesn't rule the country,
but he's the head of state.
He's a head of state. So they kept to have a ruling, to have a.
So he's your president, because that's who our head of state is.
No, that's not how that works.
No, they kept that because I know there's a couple of things that we still do that comes from the British. But I mean, and they do swear when you become a police officer, you got to swear. So yeah, they have like a part where they keep it, but
New
we're still
Canadians swear allegiance to the king. So as members of
yeah,
the
swear
parliament
allegiance to
and
the king.
legislators and military and police officers, when I took my oath to my country, and Sam, when you took the oath to the country, we took the oath to that flag and to the Constitution of the United States.
And to the
we
Constitution of the
we
United States.
We took an oath to a piece of paper. If I go join the Canadian military today, and then I'm thinking you guys have a pretty good military actually, and good benefits, I would have to take an oath to the king.
Yeah. But I mean, if you remember when Trudeau was being poked by Trump on the 51st state, people were saying, well, you know, you got the British, and then and no, he just said, do I need to put my support? I mean, you know, to help out, but I mean, technically, they don't have nothing to say. You know, it's not like in a time where you have to go through everything from them. Now it's like we're liberated, but we still work with the money.
Can I take a quick pause? There's someone spamming our public chat with spam, trying to get us to pay them money so that they can make our stream bigger. Can we get them blocked? I can't block them. I'm sorry.
We're having that problem again.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It's the same, and it's the same icon, different names, same icon.
I don't mean to interrupt. We're having a good conversation, but this is going to detract from our conversation.
That's good.
I can't see it.
No, I'm blocking him. Okay.
But the other thing is, what the thing is a lot of the people in like Alberta are saying, why should I move? And it's something where, why can't, you know, and there's a lot of people that believe in the same thing I do. Why can't we just become a state or our own country? You know, that's what I'm seeing of this.
I think, as I said at the beginning, though, if something were to happen that would allow the United States and Canada to become one country, whether it be now with the current administration or down the road, you guys have a lot of materials that we use, like I said, steel and aluminum. It would make for a very powerful country on the world stage as well. I think our number one export is to you guys, and your number one export is to us. So we stop paying tariffs there. That means both countries or both groups of people are going to start making more money, and legitimately, it would make for a scary world, because I'm not saying that China's going to come or Russia's going to come or whomever's going to come and try to take over the world or start a nuclear war, but we already have two very good militaries, and we already have two very good pools of resources that we have available to us. That would be very scary for the rest of the world, because you could never beat us in a war anymore, because we'd have all the materials we need. We'd have oil forever. We'd have materials to make weapons forever. You guys have uranium in your area. We have uranium in ours. There would be no chance for the rest of the world.
And you know that you must have heard it on the news that our government, Carney, has approved a 2% upgrade for the military. So now they have a big budget for the military to start upgrading everything.
About time.
It's good.
I'm happy. I'm happy because
it's a start.
It's a start,
yeah, it's a
and
start.
That's one of the things. That's one of the things that Carney's going to be negotiating at the G7. He said it in the news. He's going to be negotiating with Trump at the G7. They're going to talk. They're talking buddy to buddy. At the moment,
I was pretty hard line on that. If you're not up to X rate that you're supposed to be at, then
I mean, borders are covered. Borders are covered now. They've put in the manpower. They've put in the equipment, the technology, the drones, whatever. They put a lot of stuff. And now he just voted in. He voted in the budget. It's done. 2% on the military. So
I can't smuggle cigarettes into Canada anymore.
I'm going to tell you
something. Technology.
And I've seen it in a show, and they've talked about it. You have to remember that the United States spends more on their military than the next 26 or 27 countries combined. And 26 of those countries are allies.
And you guys have more people.
And with our aircraft carriers, we have more than the rest of the world combined. We can deploy air forces that are larger than most of the rest of the world. And we're talking about 5th and now going to be 6th generation air forces. The reason why the United States projects power is not because the United States needs to project power. It's they actually have to project power because we are the biggest brother on the street and everybody wants to come and punch the biggest, baddest dude in the face.
But that's what you're saying. And I'm right. And I know that. I say it myself. I know we've always been saying that for so long that the Americans, I call them the police of the world. I say it that way.
We shouldn't be doing that.
I'm tired of doing that.
Yeah, me too.
No, I know, but that's but when everything's going on,
I understand why we do it, but part of me is just tired of putting somebody else should stand up and go.
That's the responsibility of being the
wrong.
Superpower. It's the responsibility of being the superpower. Then
how many superpowers are there?
3.
Well, I mean, there's what, 3 you're talking about?
No, there's 1. There's only 1 legitimate superpower. We're the only country in the world that can actually probably fight the whole rest of the world all at the same time. We would institute a draft.
Actually.
Because you guys have put a lot of money in the military. You got all the technology.
Hey, Miles, how you doing?
Hey, Miles.
I did not.
So you know what I mean? I mean,
water too,
for sure. I understand what you're saying.
I think
you guys could go into a village, and before you put in people into the village, you could just say like, okay, you send drones, you guys have so much technology that you could kill everybody down just like in a minute, and then send the military in.
The other thing is, at one time we could have taken over the world back in World War II, but we didn't. You could have, but you're defending.
That goes against everything that we stand for.
Yeah,
you're exactly that's what I was trying to say. Thank you, Akai. I mean, why would you do that? We're talking about Hitler. We're talking about Hitler that was trying to do that.
Yeah, but the other thing is,
the funny thing about Hitler is Hitler looks like a Boy Scout compared to Stalin, Mao, Lenin, Pol Pot, all these other people that came after him, and everybody still thinks Hitler's the worst, most evilest person out there. And I go, oh my God, there are people that make him look like nothing.
I read about the Russians. I read about the Russian, what's his name? Stalin and
Lenin.
Stalin.
Did you know that they sent Russian soldiers to the front lines with 1 weapon per 2 people?
There was 1 gun and 1 magazine. Yeah.
Yep.
Per
and
2
the first
people.
one to die would pick up the magazine and put it in the gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's as stupid as what we're seeing today, sending them to Ukraine. How many people have been killed?
Ukraine is pushing Russia's backside in right now.
Did you see that drone attack they did on all their long range bombers?
Uh-huh.
That was funny.
Ooh.
Put
and they got Russian
Ukraine
truckers.
defense right now. Ukraine is spending 34% of its GDP on the military. They're the highest in the world right now.
War. They're at war for crying out loud.
They're at war. They have to.
But if we went to war, we're spending 3.5% or 3.8%. We could spend 5% and still destroy the world, which is scary. We shouldn't do that.
It's not the same thing. I'm not going to say you got the money because
it's not that we have the technology. It's we invested in the technology.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And in other countries, that's not their big thing. They don't invest in it. They let somebody else develop it, and then some other country will steal it, and then they'll develop their version, and that's the version that they buy.
Yeah,
you mean like China's doing? They stole stuff from what they
well,
the F-22.
You know what the biggest problem? It's like we used to make machines to send to China so China could make the parts, right? Now China is making the parts and the machines in China.
Yep.
And we have lost a huge demographic of tappet tool die makers in the United States. People that can make molds, people that can make injection molds, all that stuff now is being made in China. If you were to have a conference and put all the tool and die makers in the country, you couldn't fill the auditorium. You know, but if you did that in China, you would fill football stadiums full of those people.
Yeah.
And if you don't, there's some things I've been learning over the last couple of weeks, and I've been researching and I'm going to divert the subject because we've beat this one to death. I'm trying, because I was trying to understand why Trump is doing this whole tariff thing, right? And why he's trying to get manufacturing and all that stuff back to this country. Because we don't have the ability to manufacture what we need if we go to war with China. And I'm willing to bet Canada doesn't either. Because as Western countries, we've shipped all that cheap labor overseas. The tool and die makers are overseas. The machines are being made overseas. They're not being made in Canada. They're not being made in America. Right?
Yeah.
And the ones that are being made here in America can't keep up. They are so busy trying to make American products that they can't keep up. That they literally can't make enough product of what they're making.
Oh, they got too many regulations.
Yeah, but yeah.
They're too expensive.
Well, it is more expensive. But that's another reason for the tariffs, is to equalize that out. So if I buy a stainless steel screw that costs me $3.50 because it's made in America, but yet I can go on to Amazon and buy that same bolt for 9 cents because it came from China. Well, they're going to put the tariffs on that thing, so it's $3.23 to make it as much or more than the American one, or vice versa for Canada. But that's what the government needs to do so they can get that root manufacturing. It's like, if you don't have a blacksmith in your castle's done.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah,
and that's something that I wanted to talk about too. Like right now,
it was the cybersecurity thing we wanted to go over today.
Yeah, like we're talking about. I'm getting ready to take my CISSP, which is the highest cybersecurity cert you can get. You could do CISSP or you can do OSCP, and if you guys want me to explain, I can tell you what the difference is. One's playing defense and one's playing offense. Okay, and you look on the internet for entry-level cybersecurity positions. They want you to prefer you to have a CISSP. But a CISSP takes 5 to 6 years of verified experience in security to even be able to sit down and take the test. How is that entry level? It's right along what Kai's saying. When we want entry level people, we actually don't want entry level people, and we don't have the people that we need.
Well, and the pay for tool and die makers has gone down drastically over the years.
Yeah.
If you were a tool and die maker, you were making $100,000, $200,000 a year, depending on what company you're working for. Now they're down to like 70.
Crazy.
They're making like 70,000. That's one of the reasons I also left. I left the machinist field. I used to be a machinist. They get paid well if you're working in the right companies. But at the time, everything was going overseas. So in order to compete, they cut our wages. Well, I can make more money working at a plumbing supply house than I did as a machinist. Yeah. So we need to bring all that manufacturing back to our countries. We need to bring all those little jobs that people think are insignificant back to our countries. Because there's a lot of these old tool and die makers. They're retiring and dying. And if we lose that knowledge, who's going to teach them? Because companies don't want to, and maybe you've noticed this in some of the companies you worked for or worked with. Companies don't want to train people anymore.
No.
They want somebody to come in knowing.
Well, a lot of the jobs that I've applied for, they've still hired internally.
Yeah, well, you hire internally first before you go outside the pot. That's good.
Well, I would say for example, if you have a desktop guy that barely knows a little bit about security and you're trying to hire a mid-level security, I've been getting turned down to these desktop guys that are internal that don't hold a candle to my knowledge. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to their knowledge.
No, but internal has more weight on the job application than somebody from outside. The internal guy is a known factor. They know if he's going to show up to work. They know if he's going to be a good team player. They know all that stuff already because he's worked for the company for all those years.
So in Minnesota and North Dakota, you don't have to publicize your applications. So if you already know that an internal guy is going to apply, why even put the thing public in the first place?
Because they're hoping for that diamond in the rough.
They're never going to find it.
You never know.
They're never going to find it.
No.
When I got hired on with the last plumbing company I worked on, for him it was a Hail Mary. He tracked me down. I did not apply.
Okay.
I'll tell you like this. I looked at a job that I'm going to go talk to a lady about. It's for a technical recruiter. And the reason why I'm thinking about applying it pays almost the same that I'm making now. But I will deal with people's resumes all day long. And I'll know what resumes are getting accepted so I can improve my own.
Yeah.
Because I know what they're looking for. It's like having an inside man.
Crazy, eh?
Yep.
But I mean, some of these job postings they have out there, it's like, okay, the technology just came out and you want 5-10 years of experience.
No, of course you're not going to get that. I mean, they're just waiting. Yeah. They're looking to see who's going to apply. It's like when, I got headhunted for my job is because, they found out I was available, that I was no longer working for the original guy. And sorry, there's only 1 or 2 guys in the whole state that did what I did.
I will tell you that there's a post, and it's probably from like 2022 or 2021. Where this company posted a job and they were looking for a guy that knew Fast API or some coding language. And they wanted a guy with 5 years of experience. And the guy replied and said, well, I guess I can't apply because I invented this coding system 2 years ago. I don't have enough experience and I invented it.
Okay.
Yeah. But that comes down to HR though. That comes down to HR not knowing what their job posting.
And the hiring manager, well, can we get 5 years experience?
We got to do a lot of fixing in our own countries before we go bitch about other people's.
Well, and I agree with that. And it's the same thing for us. That's what I'm saying. I mean, everything has to settle down. Everybody's going to have to work on their stuff, and everything that's happening gave a kick in the ass to Canada to say, okay, we got to start being ourselves instead of, saying United States part of us and the other one's part of us. I think something like, I don't know how many percent it is. Like the military, you guys were like protecting us and stuff like that. And, so we have to start investing in Canada.
Well, the other thing is, it's like you are not, states that are saying that, oh, we're better off if we go somewhere else, is you're not giving them the reputation and your government to say, hey, we have all these resources.
Reputation or representation?
Representation.
Representation?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry for my speech impediment. It's something where, you're not letting them develop their resources and you're putting all these restrictions on them. It's like in our country, we try to work with Britain over this, but they didn't listen. That's why we had the Boston Tea Party. It's like, no, we're tired
Taxation
of it.
Without representation is why we have the Tea Party.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We didn't have. We tried to work with them.
Yeah,
they kept on tuning us down.
It's gotten a lot worse since then.
Yeah,
there's more government control over every little thing that we do in our lives than there was back in 1777. So,
true, and we need to back off on that too.
It's not going to happen. Do you know why it's not going to happen? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in any country around the world. Do you know why?
You make your own country.
Because they want the power over the people.
Yeah,
that's why they want to take the guns away from us. Is because
of that brings me to the thing, and I know we're running over here, Verm, but I need to bring this out because this is for people's safety out there.
I didn't stop. I just put the sign up saying that we're already at the end, but I didn't say nothing.
June 14th, so this Saturday,
Army birthday. There
is supposed to be no King's Day around the country. Go look at the website, check it out for yourself. Look at these wackadoodles. They defied our courts, deport Americans, disappear people off the streets, attack civil rights, slash our services. No corruption has gone too far. No thrones, no crowns, no kings. But the fear is this is going to turn hostile because these are the same people that are also doing all the ICE stuff in LA. So if you're traveling around on Saturday, be careful where you go. Make sure you pack a gun or just stay home. And never stop for a protester because they will drag you out of the car and they will kill you.
Just remember
that's my personal opinion because I've seen it happen.
June 14th is the Army birthday.
Yeah.
Show them why we were in the Army.
But there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. A lot of crazy stuff
going on around the world, not just in the United States. I think everywhere.
Did you see these guys? Like, they're literally like ripping hoods open on cars and pouring gasoline on them and lighting them on fire. The cops were leaving the area, and there's guys on the sides of the roads hucking rocks at the windshields and the vehicles.
Yeah, no,
they were trying to go under the underpass, and they were dropping rocks and boulders on the police. That can kill somebody. There's like 5 or 6 police officers already in the hospital, and I think a couple have already died.
I don't know.
The one thing that
I don't have to leave my house.
That one thing that I'm disappointed. I saw a video where a girl was walking, trying to go home, and then there was a lineup of police. Police had the gun, and he said, "Back off, go," because they don't know who's protesters and who's, regular people. So, and the girl said, "I'm just trying to go home, and I got to go by there." And the cop shot her with a plastic bullet, rubber bullet.
Shot her. That was a reporter, but yeah, I heard the story.
Yeah, the Australian reporter. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. No, it's an American citizen.
Oh, there was the Australian reporter. She got shot.
Yeah.
But they were told to leave the area. Sorry, if you're not going to comply, just because you're in the press does not make you immune to a rubber bullet and tear gas.
You're lucky it was a rubber bullet.
Yeah.
But
it seems to hurt a rubber bullet, eh?
They don't kill you.
Though, prove the point that she left after that happened. Their whole news crew left.
Well, that's the good way to get rid of news. But you're not supposed to be shooting news.
The news is not supposed to be there. It's a freaking riot. Why are they down there? If you want to go behind the cops and film from behind the cops, okay, I see that. If you want to go, 100 meters down the street and film overlooking the riot, go right ahead. But you don't go into no man's land in between the rioters and the police and think you're immune.
I don't want to argue. I'm just telling you. There's freedom of press.
There's freedom of press, but freedom of press doesn't mean law.
As being an ex-military, that sometimes when you guys go into a big shebang, there's always a press guy that would be following to try to film what's going on, or whatever. You got your own press in the military anyway. If I remember, I don't think it's civil press.
Yeah, it's
that goes with the military.
Combat correspondence and stuff like that. But civilian press knows to stay the F out of the way because the military will just run over them. Now, the same thing goes with civilians. like I said, if you get between the protesters and the cops, you're in a free fire zone.
Yep. No, I understand that.
You know, she's totally at fault for being there. She should have been 100 yards back.
It's like that
she wanted the shot.
Yeah, it's like the Canadian journalist who was in Ukraine. He was in the building, and then suddenly Russia started bombarding, and you were seeing the missiles bombarding and blowing up the buildings in back of him. He was there. It could have hit his building. What the hell are you doing there? But that's being a journalist.
Well, journalists
some of them get killed.
are very stupid.
So there is one in Fargo, by the way.
What?
Doc?
I know there is, but like I said,
1 to 3 o'clock.
Yeah, I work at home.
Yeah, 1 to 3 o'clock on Saturday.
I'm supposed to go to a birthday party that day, but I don't think we'll be going.
So, are we closing up the show?
Close up the show.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, Akai, do your thing like you usually do.
Please like and subscribe to our Looney Business. Go out to vermlandradio.com. Click on that swag shop there. Buy some stuff. Helps us keep us on the air. Please like and subscribe on our videos. Really appreciate you all listening and watching. Depending on what you're doing for podcasts, or if you're listening to us on YouTube or any of the other platforms that we're on, we really appreciate that. Like and subscribe. And thanks for listening. And I'll see you guys next week.
And I want to say thank you to the team that's here. We've had a great show tonight talking about a lot of different things. So, and it was really interesting exchanging. So I want to say thank Doc, Chuck, and Akai like usual, us being both hosts. So hope we
Thanks for showing up, Verm.
What?
Thanks for showing up.
Hey, you're welcome.
He had a meeting last week. He had a meeting.
Hey. No. I'm honestly saying thanks for showing up.
I warned
because
Sam.
When Sam and I are together, we don't really get a different opinion. We tend to, Akai and I tend to go the same way. So it's good to see the other side. I'm saying thank you for showing up because we get the other side of the page.
Yeah, no, I understand. That's what gives a little bit more of the momentum of what we talk about. So we're going to close this up. Thank you very much, everybody. See you all next week. Same time, same hour, same channel, same everything. Have a nice one, everybody.